How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, January 29th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moon Base. Hope you guys had a great weekend. This weekend was very positive, and the positivity and the action, and I'm calling this week, we're jumping into hyperspeed. But, like some Millennium Falcon shit. So, Uranus went direct going into Saturday. We saw this amazing grand trine from Venus to Jupiter with the moon activating that grand trine, and Saturn opposed, or the moon opposed Saturn as that amazing aspect was happening with Venus and Jupiter. So, I mean, there were so many amazing positive things that showed up this weekend, and we haven't felt that kind of positive frequency in a long time. And I think really it was more of a reflection of like what we have actually done and what we have actually put in. It's not necessarily like, oh my God, like some amazing abundance and manifestation just showed up like that. Like what I experienced personally was like really like reflecting on all the hard work that is actually starting to show results and starting to really pay off. And that the efforts of that and really pushing through all these retrogrades we just went through and still maintaining a positive track and a positive outlook through all these wild retrogrades we just went through the past 6 to 8 months. Like we are on the other side of that, and this weekend definitely showed that. And coming into this week, it's like we're jumping into hyperspeed. So Uranus direct, and in the early morning, it's the same kind of thing that we saw with Venus, Jupiter, and the moon trine with Saturn opposition. Like now we're at the next level of what this is, of what that positive stuff came in. Now the information's starting to come through at a very rapid rate. And we're starting to really see the results and like be able to like contemplate it and put it all together in our minds, right? We got Mercury trining Uranus, which is now direct, and the moon at 19 trining with Mercury and trining over to Uranus. So there's this grand trine that's also activating on like a higher level. Basically just what we went through on Saturday and Sunday. And this positive energy we're starting to feel now. But this is like the higher level of it. And at the same time, just like when that amazing trine with Venus to Jupiter with the moon, while the moon was opposing Saturn, as Mercury's trining Uranus with the moon activating a grand trine, the moon is going to be opposing Neptune. So just like we saw with the moon opposing Saturn on Saturday and Sunday with the Venus-Jupiter-Moon grand trine. So this is the same thing, but now we're starting to be able to mentalize it and definitely start to put it all in order. It's like, like these are the pieces to the puzzle that are really left, because through all these retrogrades, like we've let go of a lot of shit, and definitely Pluto coming to Aquarius, like we've let go of so much crap. Like there's so many things that are just not a part of us anymore, and definitely over the weekend with Mercury and Mars squaring the nodes, especially with the South node, it's like we know, especially when it comes to our identity and our egos and our relationships and what we're actually doing in the world and what we're building in life, in this life, like we're clearing a lot of karmic shit here, and not without its challenges. But this week, coming straight into this week, like we're starting off, like we're off the square with Mars and Mercury to the nodes, right? Like Uranus is now direct. Every planet's direct. This grand trine with Mercury to Uranus with the moon activating while opposing Neptune. It's like, okay, we're starting to see things more clearly, and the positive things are showing up in our lives, and we're finally getting a positive frequency coming in, while all the chaos in the world is happening, all the whatever. But none of that matters right now, because on a personal level, like if you've been putting in the work and you've been putting in the effort, this is like where we're starting to see the results come through, like we know what the Sun and Pluto and Aquarius are feeling like now. Like that's not even in the discussion. Like we're fully in it. We know what it feels like. It's totally fresh. Like this is like a refresh button. Like when you hit the refresh button on your internet browser. And, this is like the windshield wipers cleaning off the fog. And Venus and Jupiter both coming into 7 degrees at the same time. Still making a trine here. Saturn's at 6 degrees now. So it's like, we're really in a good spot. The North Node's getting closer to Chiron and Chiron are getting closer together. So, we're starting to see a lot of healing come into our lives as a lot of this positive energy that we haven't had in 6 to 8 months, really since last June and July when Venus went into shadow. Like that, when Venus and Mars go retrograde, it's always really heavy and difficult on us personally as, human beings, the masculine and the feminine, Venus and Mars. Like those retrogrades are always the most difficult. So it's like we're out of all the retrogrades now. All the positive things are starting to show up, and we're starting to see that in every aspect of the collective here as well. Like we're starting to really see a lot of truth come through and a lot of things get revealed. And, we're starting to really feel that, wow, there's some hope. There's a big, big tunnel of hope, right? And we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So this is a great way to kick off the week here. And I really think this is important too, with the moon in Virgo opposing Neptune right after this grand trine. It's going to conjunct Juno in Virgo, and then it's going to oppose Neptune. And Black Moon Lilith there too. So we can bring that into the equation here. So after that wonderful grand trine, and we're starting to really get some like really positive information and feedback. Like we're getting some really amazing feedback from just the ether, so to say. Like this is a moment when the moon opposes Neptune right after that amazing grand trine, and with Juno and with Black Moon Lilith, like there is this like kind of reflection like within like our really important relationships. A lot of important relationship stuff's going to come up today, and some darker things can get revealed like within our partnerships. If you're married or you've been in a long-term relationship, like, there could be some darker stuff that can come to the surface that needs to be addressed and need to be worked on. And so with the moon opposing Neptune, it's like there can be some kind of a new wave of reality coming into focus here, and definitely on whatever end of this opposition that you are on, whether you're on the Neptune side of things, you might be lost in the fog and you need somewhat of a reality check and to be brought up from the darkness, by people who you're around or your partner or your business partners. This is good with Juno. It can relate to all partners, So if you talk about marriage, like marriage just isn't like the person you love. Like it can also come down to business partnerships and people you're tied to, right? Especially when it comes to work. We're talking about Virgo. So there can definitely be some things that need to be addressed today. And maybe some health stuff that needs to be addressed. And things that have been just kind of you've brushed off to the side and haven't wanted to face it yet. This is a day where we really want to take that stuff head on and really, mark it down, make a list, put it in order, in order to really break through here. Like, I think there's two sides to this opposition. You might be on one end where you are really called to really help somebody today with this moon and Juno opposing Neptune, who's maybe in some kind of crisis. There could be some kind of emotional crisis that comes up in somebody you're close to or some partnership that really needs to be taken care of. Like this can be one of those days. But at the same time, with Chiron in the North Node and all these positive aspects that we're experiencing now, it's like this is a positive thing. This isn't like, oh my God, a crisis. Like this is like somewhat of a resolution here. Like Neptune's never going to be at 25 degrees again. So this is like, we're crossing that phase. Once Neptune like goes retrograde, It's not going to get back to 25 degrees. So this is somewhat of a resolution here. And it's definitely connected to our partnerships. It's definitely connected to some issues that need to come up from the deep, deep, dark depths, especially with Black Moon Lilith on this end with the moon. You know, Black Moon Lilith, like, it's not a physical body, right? Black Moon Lilith is basically a mathematical point of the point of the moon's furthest point of its orbit from the Earth. So it's when the moon is the most dark and the most furthest away from the Earth. So emotionally, there can be some pretty intense, heavy shit that needs to be brought to the surface, especially when it comes to the more feminine aspects, you know, emotionally, you know, and really like putting things in reality and bringing things into focus and kind of cleaning up a mess, you know. You want to really clean things up today as some of these things start to come up, because there's so much positive, amazing shit that we've been anticipating for a while. And it's been slowly building, because we've slowly seen this build over the past few weeks since the new year. You know, when the sun trine Jupiter, and then Mercury, and then Mars trine Jupiter. Mercury trine Jupiter 3 times during its retrograde. Like, we've seen this slow build up to get to this point. And now this Monday, with Uranus going direct and that grand trine with the moon to Mercury and then to Mars, you know, it's really blasting off, because, you know, as that's happening, right, as that opposition is starting to happen with the moon to Neptune, this is when Mars is beginning to trine over to Uranus. So this is when the hyperspeed kicks in. So as we move through some of these issues that come up that need to be addressed, and really for the better in the long run, like, it's going to be like, okay, we're on the other side of it. You know, this is where I've been wrong, or this is where I haven't looked or haven't noticed, or this is where I just kind of left a mess and didn't do anything about it, and it just piled up and piled up. Thank you for helping me address these issues, and thank you for helping me find a new way of healing. That's very much Virgo Pisces aspect, right? Is healing, and definitely healing on a spiritual level. And with Chiron on the North Node, it's like this can be very, you know, very much a time where people need some support. So as we're kind of crossing over a hump here, and things are coming to light today, things that have been buried and pushed and maybe hidden, you know, Mars is going to trine Uranus right after this. So this is when the hyperspeed kicks in. It's like we're resolving things and getting over the hump, and then hitting the gas full blast. So as we come into the afternoon on the West Coast, in the U.S., wherever you're at in the world, like, this is when shit starts going full blast here. You know, Mars trining Uranus, it's like, damn, like, you know, you're driving your car and you just end up in the most wildest place that you didn't even know you were going to end up, and then you find some sort of, you know, hidden treasure map, right? That really launches you to the next fucking dimension with Uranus, right? And to literalize that, it's like it really comes down to like the things that you've been putting in and the hard work that you've been putting in, because this is Mars and Capricorn and its exaltation with Uranus and Taurus. It's like the physical manifestation at a very rapid level, at a very hyperspeed level, starting to really come through in a very powerful way. And it can be very physical and very intense at the same time, but it's very positive, you know. And when Mars trine Uranus, like, this is like very much that kind of finding new ways to just move through obstacles, and finding new ways to invent and to create, and new ways to manifest. This is so amazing. Like, we haven't had energy like this in so freaking long. Oh, probably more than a year, really, like all at once. And also all at once in a slow buildup. So, like, you know, we want to really harness this moment here. And we have, you know, at least a few months here with all planets direct. Yeah, when Mercury goes retrograde, it's fine. But the outer planets and Mars and Venus direct, at least until we get into late spring going into summer, this is the moment when shit starts to happen really quickly, you know. And we want to embrace every single moment of that. We don't want to let a moment pass by, So we're adjusting to this frequency with Pluto and the sun in Aquarius, and we're settling into that, and we're like ready for anything at this point. It's like with Mars, Uranus, it's like, fuck yeah. I'm ready for anything. Bring it on. Let's go. Let's take the journey. Let's go discover some new shit that no one's ever done before. Like, let's fucking ball. Like, we're not gonna have this energy ever again. Like, Mars and Venus are gonna come into Aquarius here in a couple weeks, and they're gonna conjunct, and then Mercury will be in Aquarius. So, like, this is the end of, like, all the positive, amazing Capricorn stuff that's coming in here. Like, we're not gonna see the Sun and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn again with Mercury, Mars, Venus, in Capricorn. So this is the last bit of Capricorn. So you want to be, like, laying down the foundation and making sure that, like, you have really been in touch with what your purpose is and what your destiny is in the world, how you want to be seen in the world. Because once we get deeper and deeper into Aquarius, it's like, this is whenever all of those hours and days and weeks and years of putting in the work and staying on the path and not being distracted, because there's a lot of distractions too, and that's what this moon opposing Neptune also could bring up too, is where you've been distracted and where you just, like, checked out, like, because if you're checked out and you're in Neptune land, like, the ship is still moving at its fastest speed. Okay, like, so you want to be ready for that and allow yourself to really break through a lot of these obstacles that we've been feeling. We're coming into Monday, we're overcoming so many obstacles and riding this new wave of hyperspeed with Mars trine Uranus. Venus will trine Uranus. So that's when, all the goodies are going to start to pop in. Venus is still making a great aspect with Jupiter. So we want to be kicking ass coming into Monday, not wasting any time, being very clear about what the reality is with the moon opposing Neptune, and not falling into the distortion that can also be happening on the other side of things, no matter how great things are manifesting right now. Like, there's still this element of distortion that's happening on the outskirts. But that distortion really doesn't have much to do with us as individuals and what we're doing as individuals. That's all the things that are beyond our control. What we can't control is our immediate environment, right? And that's Mercury. So Mercury now, like, bringing in this new wave of, like, like, this is what I do have in my reality. These are the tools that I do have. And I'm going to utilize these tools to really kick ass and create the reality that I want. And that's what this is all about with Mars and Mercury trining Neptune, and the moon really breaking through a lot of the delusion and the illusion of what that is. It's not just, like, manifestation isn't just sitting there on your ass, like, with your legs crossed, like, oh, $1 million will come to me tomorrow. Like, that's not what it is. It's the hard work you put in over time. When you're talking about Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, the Earth songs, it's the real shit. It's the real physical, tangible stuff that you have put in, and the time you have put in with Saturn and Pisces. It's like, how much time and effort have you put in? And you can look back over the past 15 years since 2008. It's like, well, how have you transformed? How has your perception of time transformed? And how has that affected your ability to create and see your own vision and be in touch with your own destiny? So we're moving into a whole new wave. Mars trine Uranus, I think, is really, like, a blast-off moment coming into Monday, and it's happening on a fucking Monday. Like, how cool is that? So, this isn't like somebody's got a case of the Mondays kind of vibe today. This is, like, the most, like, radical, exciting, fun Monday that we'll probably have in a long-ass time. And we won't see it again, with Mars and Capricorn trine Uranus with, we won't see Pluto and Capricorn with Mars and Capricorn again, ever. So this is, like, a very culminating energy of, like, wow, like, all this time, all this work, all this effort, moving through all these difficulties, like, and staying true to yourself and to the path and your calling within, like, things are starting to move at rapid speed now. And it may seem quicker than what it actually is because things have been so slow the past 6 to 8 months. You know, we've been going through all these retrogrades. So it's like, this is the jump to hyperspeed. And we've been waiting for this badassness for a long ass time. So I got the 4 of Cups today. And it's everything that's right in front of you. All that you've created and all that you are manifesting is right in front of you. But if you're keeping your head down and you're not looking up, you're going to miss out, right? Like, all of the most amazing things. It's like, it can seem like the things that are coming in for us right now can seem like it's just coming from the divine, right? And it is. Everything's connected to the divine with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. And all the things that we're doing, it is connected in a divine way, in a magical, spiritual way. But it's all the things that are right in front of you. It's all the things that you've already laid down. It's all the foundation that you've laid down to bring in this beautiful new frequency that we're starting to really like feel today with Mars trine Uranus. And this is very much like, you know, also brings up, you know, the moon opposing Saturn over the weekend and now the moon opposing Neptune as all this positive stuff. Like, this is very much what that is. It's like, if you feel like nothing's starting to show up, it actually is. And it's going to show up today and this week in ways that, like, you get down in the dumps of, like, feeling empty, and then all of a sudden it's just like some synchronicity just pops into your life. Like, that's very 4 of Cups. You know, it's always when you're not looking. It's always when you're not trying, you know. But it's also like, it doesn't happen when you just give up. You know, and Mars in Capricorn does not give up. You know, it'll put up a fight, you know, to get where it's supposed to go. So this is a hyperspeed week. This is a hyperspeed Monday, and that's all I can say about that. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.